I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life. All right, so Steve gets up every morning and spends about 40 minutes.
Thank my lucky stars that I'm up.
Social medias.
Steve needs to go to social media rehab.
I'm like a 14-year-old
I think I do too.
kid.
It's pretty ridiculous. The first thing I do, I get up, I do my business, and I'm on the on the phone there, and like first thing I do, Instagram, Facebook. It's like
I have to force myself to use any of that.
You're lucky, bro.
You're lucky, but I'm just like
Well, dude,
baffled because you're.
I did a huge detox.
Okay, then that's probably
I went
what
like
I'm trying to
3
go
years
through right
with
now.
no social media. I mean, I would check.
We
Facebook
went
every
20
once in a
years or
while.
something like that with no social media before. Like literally, well, how old was I? I was like 12.
Yeah,
when
well,
internet
a
came
lot of
about.
people go like 20 years without doing meth, and then they start.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
it's addicting. Bro, you know what? In 2008, I was sitting with one of my really, really good friends at a bar, and he was telling me, I'm never gonna get this. I'm never gonna get married. And he's married now. I mean, this that shows you the evolution of like everything since 2008. But we were also sitting at that bar, and I said to myself, like, dude, we actually sat down at that bar again, like recently within like the last year, and I was like, dude, last time we were here, Instagram, Twitter, all those things weren't out yet. You know what I mean? Like
Steve was
Snapchat
a
wasn't
MySpace
out.
celebrity.
Yeah, dude. Like MySpace isn't it, dude? Tom was my friend. You know what I mean? Like that's what.
Whatever happened to that guy?
He's probably just on a.
He's like
island
not a
beach
real
somewhere.
person, is he?
He's a
Was
real
he a real
person
person,
enjoying
dude?
some
I
of
don't
that
know.
sweet.
I think he was just
sweet.
like the dude
Next thing I know,
that
you're
started
gonna tell me
that
that
they
the
wanted you to
Jack in the
think
Box
started
guy's
it.
not real.
Wow. Either which way, Fox bought it and then that thing disappeared. That thing literally disappeared. Damn.
Fox bought MySpace?
Yeah, they bought MySpace as the platform.
Why'd they do
I
that?
don't know if they still own it. You know how it is. Everyone wanted to branch out.
Well, because then they
Everyone
were
saw
like
something that was hot.
they were trying to be like a music platform at one point, weren't they?
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A little bit, yeah. I
They
think
were
so.
pivoting once Facebook and everybody.
It was kind of cool that you could like customize your page though.
Yeah, that is true. I remember I had some like cool Homer Simpson's background because I worked for Fox at the time. I had some cool Homer Simpson's background. It looked pretty cool.
I don't remember, man.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I need a detox from social media.
You're lucky,
really
Tim.
badly.
You
It's
are a
not
lucky
even-
man to not have the the addiction, the affliction.
Well, JB, the affliction. Here's what
Well,
it is, JB.
I guess, but now that I'm trying to run all of our stupid social media,
no,
I
but
might need
that's
some
great
help.
though, man. Because like you're not. All,
No, it's
like,
not, dude. Because like
sour and you're not.
Twitter, man, you have to post like 7,000 times a day to be relevant.
Well, that's
Hey, man.
that's how they keep you going. Is that,
That's
you
the cost to be the boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, dude, you know what, dude?
And plus,
Anybody who wants to sponsor our social media, they have some pretty cool. They have some pretty cool platforms where you could like do multi-channel posts and stuff, and not like the bullshit where it says you can link your 2 accounts or whatever, so you can.
Wow. Sponsored to you by
Knight Rider.
Sponsored by Knight Rider.
Hello, David.
Go ahead, Kit. Go ahead, Kit.
This is Kit.
So yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, the
knows?
platforms where you can do multi-channel. No, but like when you see, I don't know if you guys use Twitter or whatever. I think it's Twitter. Maybe it's Instagram.
That's
I
how
don't know.
old
dude.
we are.
I
Do
don't
you guys
really-
do
I don't
that?
really-
What is
The
this?
Twitter? The
No,
Twitter?
what
Get
I'm
off
saying
my
is,
lawn.
you know how like if you post on something like let's say Instagram, and then you can link it to like your Twitter.
Yeah.
So it'll post on Twitter, but all it posts is a link. It's like, dude, I'm not going to take the time to go click a link to go look at something
But
else.
see, most
Here's
people
what it
would,
is.
dude. Most people would.
Most people would because
Well,
they're
you know
sitting
what?
in the bed in the morning.
I'm not most
checking their
people,
checking their
apparently.
Hey,
news
but you've
feed,
got to get in their head,
Facebook
man.
Feed.
If you want to be, motivational speaker and somebody who is.
Hey, dude, I'm doing it, man. I'm doing videos every day.
I know, dude.
Yeah,
I'm proud
that's
of you.
awesome, dude. We're
Exactly.
loving it.
But
We're
you got to
loving
get in
those
their head.
videos.
You got to be
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm going to have faith in the person that if I post this to all my accounts, they're going to open this link.
No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to value and appreciate my followers by actually giving them a real post in all 3 platforms.
Oh, that's,
I'm not going to be a lazy piece of shit. I mean, that shows me no respect. I respect the people that love me.
Well, but
And I wanna show them
but
some
you
love
also
back.
have to go at it with the angle of your time is valuable. So you've got to walk
my
that.
time is
You've got to
valuable.
walk that taut tensile line of do
Well,
I
that's
do
why
all
we
3
need,
posts or do I just do one and spread it out?
Well, I'll tell you what, the one thing that I think the links are cool to is my YouTube channel. So that's my first thing. Then I think Facebook, because that's probably the most people. But as things change, things change. And you know what? Someday I'll learn how to take photos, and then maybe I'll appreciate Instagram more.
Bro, that's amazing. That it's so funny. Like,
yeah, I guess Instagram is very
taking photos your whole life. Yeah. Oh, you mean take photos like that? Like model for photos?
No, I literally just meant cool photos in general.
Oh, bro.
I was just using a little bit of self-deprecation humor.
Okay. I
could take a
Sim,
photo.
I'm
Tim
sitting
just
across the table from you,
self-defecated.
and I... Yeah, he's
self-defecating humor.
I'm sitting across the table from you, and I couldn't pick that up. I was like, huh?
What is wrong with us?
What is wrong with us? Is that the topic for today?
What is wrong with that? Would be a good topic, but I think we cover that pretty much every cheat episode.
We cover that.
I think
every
anybody who
episode.
listens can cover that in
Everyone who
explicit
listens can
detail.
Pretty much.
That's what's wrong with
But
these
you
guys.
know what? We're bringing you the real, stripped down, honest versions of these three guys, and I think some people out there hopefully appreciate that.
We're like
not
the
lying to you.
We're like the Hemi Cuda with no mufflers, straight out the heads. We're just like blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Yeah, what JB said.
Yeah, you're like a.
For those of you that were, millennials that don't know what that is, it's a car.
Yeah, we're like a Prius.
It's a very
always
world
always on the
conscious,
messed up version.
gas friendly electric.
Oh yeah. All the Hemi motors are gas-friendly
yeah.
cars.
Yeah, you're like the Prius that's never in the eco mode.
Yeah,
The
Steve
electric vehicle
Steve
mode.
drives
Oh,
a baby
Steve,
blue Prius.
you don't drive your Prius in eco mode, you rebel.
Oh, I know.
I like to
It
call
gets
it
better
the
gas
blueberry.
mileage up hills, though. I would say. It gets better power up hills.
Yes.
You guys don't remember this, but there is a street called Texas Street here, or maybe some of you guys do, and it's still around. Texas
I know
Street.
Texas Street.
Exactly.
It's right there.
And it's right there.
Is it
in
really
the heart of
steep?
Mission Valley.
There is a Valero
It
gas
is.
station on Texas Street that has really cheap gas.
Really?
Just saying, dude.
If you can make it up to the top of it,
It is pretty gnarly.
it
You're
takes
correct.
it takes probably about 6 months of conditioning for one car to make it up, and it's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah, this is how lame.
For a second, I thought you were talking about like running up
we are.
it, biking up it.
I
Like, no, Steve's car doesn't make it up.
But I will tell you, I will go all around San Diego to avoid going up that because it's such a steep grade on my car. I can't make it. But however, I have seen like literally MTS buses go down it, and I'm like, oh my god, I would not want to be the car.
But dude,
in
if
front
you're
of that bus.
willing to make it up that hill, you save 50 cents a gallon on gas.
It's not 50 cents a gallon. There's
Sometimes it
So
is.
does
Is that real
the
gas?
does the Prius make it up that hill? Have you ever made it up that hill?
Yeah.
Like
It
maybe
makes
not
it
after a
that
big
hill-
Mexican food lunch though, right?
No, like here's what it is. When my parents come to visit, and I have like maybe even 4 people riding in that car, it is a struggle.
Oh,
to eat.
Tim,
It
it's
is
like
a
the
struggle.
offensive line in the my first car.
Oh.
The
Tempo?
85
What?
Ford Tempo.
Fucking Ford Tempo. That
Are we
thing was
talking about
awesome.
cars?
Dude, that hill coming out of your folks'
great
house, dude. The Winchester Canyon Hill.
And we had like laptop speakers for your sound system.
Yeah.
But you know what though? You were the first one to have a car. So it was
Exactly.
the coolest shit ever. Because
Dude, that was the
we were
coolest.
finally mobile.
And there was at least
These are high
1,000
school
pounds of
references for
human in
y'all?
that car.
There was a lot of human in that car.
Dude, that's the coolest thing though. The first person to get a car, it doesn't even matter what kind of car it is. It could be like that 1986 Town and Country station wagon.
Dude doesn't care. Don't matter.
Oldsmobile,
Oh,
like,
dude.
whatever. You're like,
It was the best thing ever. That feeling
Yep.
of freedom. It's just like, oh, look,
Freedom.
I could go wherever I want. And now that I'm 36 and I've had that forever, I'm like, I just want to stay inside.
Exactly, dude. You're like, no, I don't want to go
Now that
outside.
I'm driving for Lyft, I'm
Now,
like,
now that JB is 36, he's
I don't even
developed
know if I wanna do
agoraphobia.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the male version of a spinster? Like
A
spinst?
hermit.
So, Mr. Spencer.
Mr. Spinster.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
That's all Mr. Spencer.
Well, shouldn't the female version be like a spinstress and the male should be a spinster?
You know
Not
what?
in,
I'm
not
the
in
only thing
today's
that's
day and
coming-
age.
The
Oh,
only thing that's
they're
hitting my
just it's
mind.
just spin stacks.
It's yes,
for both.
exactly. It's gender
Spin
neutral.
stacks.
It's spin
maybe
spin
spin
X.
doctors.
spin
They're
stacks like
doctors.
Latinx.
Like that redheaded guy.
Oh, the spin doctors. Good call.
Oh, dude, spinster
Something about
doctors.
a pocket full of kryptonite.
Go ahead.
We got a pocket full of mothballs. We got a pocket full of.
Wow, JB.
Brett is like, is he cooking these rocks? What rocks does he have in the water?
Dude, is your roommate cooking rock?
Yes, my roommate's cooking rocks. I don't know what to tell you about that. Steve is obsessed with Brett's rocks.
Does he have like one of those like things that like a tumbler where you put sand and the grains get finer and finer and
No,
like a rock
but my
polisher?
dad used to have one of those things, and it was awesome.
I know you
Tables.
can polish anything if you had the enough
Yep.
time.
Yeah,
Wait, how much time would it take to polish a fucking
like a week.
Oh yeah,
maybe 2
because you'd
weeks.
leave the rocks in there
just
for 24 hours and you'd put like pebbles in with it, and then you put sand in with it, and then you put the fine powder in with it.
Some like oil or something in there too, or something weird.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
What'd you spend for 1 week?
Well, I mean, not necessarily exactly 1 week, but it would take probably an average of a week.
Sander and do it yourself, but it was more like the natural. Why the fuck are we talking about this, dude?
This is just
dude, because that was like so much fun when I was a kid. Like at school, you do like the rock polisher.
It was so cool because like you put it in there, you kind of forget about it, and then
Wait,
you're
so
like,
is it just plugged in and just goes?
It must be, yeah.
Well, you can take anything like a sandstone, like this craggly looking, turd rock,
like
and then you put it in here, and then a week later you have this beautifully polished.
Dragon egg.
Yeah, dragon egg, pretty much.
Sea glass? Is that how you could make sea glass? Like, could you artificially make sea glass?
Well, sea glass kind of.
What is sea glass?
Sea glass. That's why when you get sea glass on the beach, that's why it looks like that, because it's kind of it's nature's done its own tumbling routine on it.
That's what I'm saying. So could you just put like a piece of glass?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, glass is kind of already shiny, but
I guess it kind of have to be like a
sea glass is cool.
Like a strong piece of glass.
This is double pane soundproof glass.
Bing bong. All right.
I believe that glass is actually a liquid.
It is a liquid.
It is liquid.
Yeah. So over time, you'll notice that like the bottom of your window is actually thicker than the top of your window.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Long
now
time.
you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Mr. Wizard.
G.I. Joe's.
Oh, that's G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. All right.
Mr. Wizard was like, science.
Okay. So, Steve.
Yeah.
Tim. I'm going to play high school professor.
Kill, marry, fuck.
Yes. No. I'm going to be guidance counselor here. So we're sitting down. This is, halfway through your senior year. And maybe a little earlier than that. I can't remember. I didn't really go to my guidance counselor. But which is probably why I didn't. Yeah.
Here I come.
Exactly. So
we had guidance counselors?
Yeah.
Give me guidance.
I don't remember that.
You sit down and your 5-year plan. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So what are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations?
Now, are you asking us to answer these questions as we would have when we were 18?
Are we on a first
yes,
date?
I mean, yes and no, both. So what would you have said in high school?
Ambiguous.
What did you say in high school? And what would you say now?
Based on the decisions I made, I believe I wanted to be a physical therapist. Now, at the time, I thought physical therapist for like a pro football team, college football team, sweet gig. Then I tried to do that. But when I got about to like my last year of college, doing all my internships and stuff, and I realized I'm mostly working with sick people and old people. And not that I have anything against those two classes, but the best thing you can hope for in a lot of your patients is to keep them from getting worse. And that was kind of depressing to Tim. And I didn't really want to go to 4 more years of school. And I didn't really want to, after that, come out making an average. I think the average salary was like $55,000.
Not very much.
So then I made the decision, well, I've got all this kind of pseudo-medical background, but medical sales, that would be awesome. So that
was your decision late in college, right?
Well, that was what I did with when I decided I didn't really want my 5-year plan.
So your original goal was to be a physical therapist.
That is correct.
Gotcha. Steve, what about you?
I wanted to be in politics. I remember. I don't know why.
I remember Steve was like student council, class president.
I was like really, really, really like, for some strange reason, I felt like the political world, the political game, I wanted to go to Georgetown and live in Washington, D.C. and do that political
Steve was watching a lot of The West Wing.
That politics would have eaten you alive.
Oh, no. Seeing how as frustrated as I get just in a simple job with very, very limited bureaucratic bullshit, it's pretty impressive on how frustrated I am and just how much I just hate people sometimes.
Well, would you think about it this way, though? If you actually had influence over that stuff, would it change your mind? Like, would you get as frustrated? If you
Politicians don't have influence. All they have is the ability to appease their lobbyists, dude.
Here's what it is. I think that if I would have had, I think if I would have, honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I guess everybody answers to somebody, so.
Because this is 20 years ago, man.
I could see Steve being like a mayor, though.
What about city councilman?
Yeah, I can see it.
Probably like a acting voting member.
But I would see Steve as being like the face of something. He'd have to be like the mayor or the.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough. I think I left that world behind, and I don't think I've ever looked back. I said to myself, hey, after I didn't get into a few colleges, and I was like, oh, boo-hoo. And I thought to myself, after I went to college for the first time, and thought, like seeing those people kind of get involved in college, I was like, I don't even know if that's something I want to do anymore. And I just, sometimes things die. Sometimes your visions change here a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. And Jables, I'm going to be honest with you. What I remember, and I'm just going to toss this out there. I don't, I'm trying to remember back when we were 17 or something like that.
Didn't you kind of do what you wanted to do?
Yeah, was your goal to like do country music? Wasn't it to be a musician? Wasn't it to be involved in music?
It was to be. I think loosely.
Am I getting you and Katy Perry confused?
I wasn't extremely driven, and I'll be honest about that. I didn't. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah, but dude, you're 36 years old, and you've already done what you set out to do.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people,
and it's still changing. It's still changing too.
It's changing every day.
What's wrong with that though?
Yeah, so like you guys know, when I was in high school, I did the logistics thing. That was me, running the sound system and doing the infrastructure for sound stuff like that. And that kind of interest that sparked an interest in me. And so when I went to City College, I did I took courses in that, and it kept kind of flourishing and building in me. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. You're the guy kind of behind the scenes, and
yep.
I was singing and writing and doing stuff like that as well. So I could kind of be my own one man band. So to speak. I didn't need to go to a studio to record. I could do it all myself, So I think that was kind of what sort of motivated me.
Well, and you have some skills that you developed into some more awesome skills.
Yeah.
And
so then
you've taken me on as a protege and taught me how to edit stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's you're taking a creative mind, which I think I have, and inserting it into a technical world, which in today's age is, I think, it's completely necessary, because like everybody, like vloggers and stuff like that, you are a one-man production crew, talent, director, editor.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of saw that coming subconsciously, and I took that, and then I got to Nashville. I went to school in Arizona to really learn the deep technical aspects of music and sound recording and live sound reinforcement. And I had always been a country music fan, so I said, screw it, I'm just going to move to Nashville. Me and a couple buddies from school, we packed up, moved out. That was in 2005, and then ended up going on the road and stuff like that. So I fortuitously fell into something that I didn't think I was going to want to do, which was going on the road. I moved out there to be a studio engineer, and I realized that didn't really suit my personality. So kind of bringing this back around. Yeah, I guess now that I look back, I was following kind of a goal that I kind of didn't really even know I had, in a weird way.
Right.
It just kind of
But yours sort of unfolded organically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel very fortunate looking back that, because the part of my brain that holds the little carrot out in front of whatever I'm doing for motivation and choices and stuff like that, steered me in the right direction. So I kind of have to give a shout out to whatever part of my consciousness did that. Thanks, buddy.
Dude, it sounds to me like you had an interest, and you've always just been kind of following that interest. Because honestly, no one ever told you never had an interest, to my understanding, and may prove me wrong, but you never had an interest in politics like I once did, or
no, I didn't. I did not.
Sports therapy like Tim did, and it never drove you. You remember I should do this and I should do that. You just had an interest in something, and you just kind of kept on following it. And dude, that's your carrot, is your interest, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that kind of always generates you to kind of get up in the morning and to kind of keep up and at it,
which is good,
which is great.
But I think that is like most schools. JB, because of dedication, got to where he ended up kind of wanting to be from the beginning. You and I fell by the wayside for some reason. If we ended up doing
here's what it is. You fall by the wayside, but also, and this is also an important thing to anybody that's listening, is that goals change, interests change all the time.
True.
Right? You know, you look at something, you always look at something from the outside in, and then you find out more information about it. You're always circumnavigating it, like, you know, looking at details. But then when you're finally in it, right? You know, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, it doesn't always look the way that you thought it would.
Oh, no, not at all.
You know,
no.
Then that's unfortunate. But if you have that real persistence and you can kind of make it the way you want it, you follow me?
Yeah, or you can, you know, Steve had a goal of being in, you know, in the entertainment industry, and he got there and realized it's not for him. So
there's
he made
a lot
a change.
of work to get there. There was a lot of sacrifice, and yeah, when you get there, you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, I got to the edge of, you know, going where I wanted to go, and I realized that wasn't really what I wanted, so we changed course, and I think there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think when you change, you have to drastically change almost, because so you can't like step out, you can't like, you know, tiptoe out.
No,
it's almost like you're shocked. You're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
well, you got to make a big move, because starting over sucks. But I mean, we both done it.
Yeah.
No, and I think
we've all done
I think in today's climate too, it's absolutely necessary. With attention spans, the way that technology and just information changes hands so quickly.
Absolutely.
You have to be like, to go back to the football, you have to have your head on a swivel. You know, you
Absolutely.
really do. And you have to be able to cut and go different direction.
Absolutely. I think you always, and you know, just in any industry you're in, any job you're in, I think that being adaptable is extremely important, because just things change all the time. I think that, so we all got asked our goals. I mean, as a guidance counselor, JB, what is your advice now?
Guidance counselor.
Well, I have this big goal, JB. How do I get there?
This was.
Do I just hope and pray?
Yes. Well, I mean, there's that. I'm not giving hope and prayer a bum rap. Well,
no, those are important. We love Jesus.
There has to be,
or whoever it is.
There has to be a plan put in place.
Okay. So were we given plans? I don't recall.
No, we were not given plans.
Okay. So I think that, I mean, a goal is a kind of a broad term, but I think that there's a difference between a goal and a vague resolution. And I think most of the things we think are goals are vague resolutions until you can see the path, and then it becomes a goal.
Well, and I think that's set on a kind of a graph of desire too.
Well, that's very true. I mean, I think you can put together a strategic plan to hit any goal you want, but if it's something you're truly passionate about, then that's actually going to make it matter enough to actually do it.
Yeah, and is that journey going to be a path that you really are going to enjoy? Are you motivated by the journey, or just by what's at the end of it?
Yeah,
well, and I think either one could work.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this, as far as, say if this is a lifelong goal, I mean, you're spending your life attaining this goal, and if it's just to get to what's at the end of it, you may have wasted your life.
You may have missed all.
You may have missed the enjoyment of actually living.
Some of our listeners that they've wasted their whole life.
Well, I think they would have known by now when they clicked onto our podcast. They knew that they were.
Yeah, they're wasting an hour a day. So,
no, but I think that you're extremely right, and I think that's why I think it's important to have like multiple goals. But I
mean, if you're listening to this, you're seeking some sort of, something. So there's still life left ahead of you, and this is what we're trying.
Absolutely.
This is what we're trying to convey to you, is that
it's never too late.
It is. It's never too late.
What you're doing, or to change what you're doing.
Exactly.
I mean, shoot, all of us either are or have changed what we're doing, and I'm sure we'll all change it again. And
Tim and I are kind of in the process of it right now. Actually, Steve as well.
And here we are doing this, and who knows what this will evolve into. I mean, I think right now we're just doing it because we're friends, but I mean, if y'all like it, we could certainly do more with this. But so I guess we should probably give some advice on how to make more effective goals.
Well, here, before we just break into that, I will tell you that, and I'm just going to rep out this right now. I have been struggling just trying to find like some motivation recently, because it's really, really easy for me, and I'm sure everyone that's listening too can sometimes feel like, hey man, I just go to work, punch the clock, do my job, get home, eat dinner, watch some TV, slug it out again, do the same thing, wake up, go, routine.
Yes, but Steve, you can lose and gain motivation quicker than any human being I've ever met.
No, that is correct. But when you feel not motivated, let's say you just say like, your whole life you have a bunch of carrots in front of you and you're always driving towards those carrots, right? You're like, oh, this is what, and when you listen to, and sometimes, I've reached out and I've tried to listen to like some YouTube podcasts, and every single time, like most of these people would say like, hey man, make your goal so specific. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. Too generalized. How are you going to make that million? How are you going to do it? When do you want to do it by? What are your goal sets by? By month 1, I want to save this amount of money. By year 5, I want to be this way. Sometimes, honestly, I've struggled with like thinking about it, my life in terms of that, and sometimes I've even struggled with making those base requirements, like, oh, by week 1, by month 1, by 6 months in. And so sometimes, I can get easily, and you guys know this, I can get easily dissuaded. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, David, I'm not strong enough.
That's because those seemingly small goals that you say you're setting are still too big.
That's true, and that can very, very much be the case. But this is why we're all here, and this is why we're as a project or as a movement. Anyone that thinks like, oh, this is a friendship kind of group right here, and I'm telling you guys, this is my honest like struggle that I have every single day. I'm glad I can share.
Appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, but I will say that.
Tell me.
Now, this is not our support structure episode, but since Steve brought it up, what I will say is the three of us, we've been in contact for 20 years. Now, for the last, 5 to 10 of those, we probably have talked. I mean, Steve lives in San Diego, and we used to see each other, twice a month?
Yeah.
Now, since we've been doing this, we've been talking every day. We've taken some of these down Steve moments that could have lasted weeks, and now we can make it like an hour. So
too long.
So don't be afraid to reach out to people.
Yeah.
We'll cover that in another episode. But I mean, I can't stress enough how important that is.
For sure.
But yeah, Steve, I think 2 things. If you're having trouble with your goals, and I'll say this, I'm no expert, but I would say 2 things. It could be that you're continuing to move the goalposts. So like happiness is always just out of your reach, and then you're never happy. And not that, you need to be happy, but I think if you have things that you can hit it, maybe make things, break it down more, make it easier to get. But also maybe that $1 million is not what you're passionate about. Because
you're saying that overarching goal, whatever it is, whether it be $1 million or even just to have a better positioning in your job, or to have a more, this type of vacation by the end of by the end of the year or something like that. You're saying that might not be the main thing that I should be working towards. That
if you're missing passion, something you truly, truly want, I think if that's the case, now it's still going to be difficult to get the motivation. You're going to have to work for it. I mean,
But if it's something you truly want,
exactly,
you'll just get like when a baby really wants something to eat or wants their bottle, they just go ape shit because they really want it. They scream, they shout, they want it. That's what you have to do. You have to find something that you cannot live without.
And maybe that's like kind of getting back to, what we were initially talking about with you, Jables, is that, maybe it's just like something that you kind of just don't know of, but it's silently guiding you, or it's just what you're interested in, and you're just kind of moving towards it or working towards it, even though, I may not know it. But at the same time, I don't think I've felt like kind of driven, like, oh, I have to live. I can't live without this thing, X, Y, or Z,
True, but maybe you just need a few wins because you're running on autopilot. So
Yeah,
maybe you
that's
need to
true.
pick a couple of small, short-term goals for yourself. Hit them, knock them out. You'll feel better about things.
I was listening to something recently in Casey Neistat, who is, the amazing vlogger, influencer. He's got the company he just sold to CNN, the video sharing thing. He was saying that to really find out what you want to do, go do something that you can't stand doing. So, for instance,
Interesting.
Like go put in, and it's a similar theory that Damon John wrote in the Power of Broke. You are never going to be more motivated when you don't have a fucking thing to your name. It's when you and I'm not saying go sell all your stuff and be a homeless person, but you can get into that mindset where like, man, like I don't have anything, like, or I'm doing something that I cannot stand, like I'm shoveling shit at a farm, or I'm a garbage man. You can kind of put yourself into that mindset, like I really don't want to be doing this. What do I want to do?
Yeah.
And if if going back to your old life is what you want, then maybe we are where we want to be. And
but
we
that will show you that.
we just keep comparing ourselves to other people, and that kind of creates this like cognitive dissonance in us.
I think Steve and I should go be homeless for a few days and see what Steve thinks after that.
You know how crazy it is? Like, honestly, I got the first job I could, like, right out of college, and I was literally sitting in, like, a cubicle, and I was just managing keys, like, you know, like keys for contractors. Like, oh, here's this property, you know, property on 123 State Street. Here are the keys to that unit. And that's all I would be doing. I felt like that Asian guy in The Matrix, except I wasn't allowed to move and run around and have a bunch of cool sets of keys. Anyways, I remember just thinking, I did that job for 4 months, and after the first probably 2 weeks, I was like, wow, I don't want to do this. And I remember just trying to be like tactical about it and be like, well, what is it that I want to do? How am I going to get there? What is it that I really like am passionate about? And I remembered it was like sports and sports entertainment. And I remembered, like, you know, the good old L.A. Clippers. They were coming to town that fall, and I remember just asking around, beating down the bushes, beating down those doors, being like, hey, what do you know of? And I remembered I also worked at Santa Barbara City College for the Caro's sports information director part, you know, sports information department, or the athletics department. And dude, I just kept on working until I worked myself onto L.A. and just did that whole business. So. Dude, you're right. You kind of have to just find out something you don't want.
Well, and to now that you've kind of laid that out for me, coming at it from the viewpoint of, dude, you're right on track, man. It's just we're all so, you know, kind of, you know, you can't see the forest for the trees kind of thing. We're so in our own lives that we don't actually see that maybe we are on the proper track.
Well, I think sometimes when, you know, things get routine, I think you need something in your life to kind of mix it up a little bit.
I mean, we all need excitement. We all need something to, I mean, you know, especially because there's so much information coming at us. It's like we all get desensitized and we want like this, you know, like, something to like a real shot of adrenaline or something like that. You know, it's
dude,
like
I had no idea that I was, you know, interested in freaking sound and video editing and photography and video.
Yeah, it's creative, man. It's creating something. It's amazing.
Well, it's funny because I used to be creative when I was a kid. Like I remember I used to draw and I was like in art class and stuff, and I haven't done anything creative. And I mean,
because you've been a working cog in a selling machine system.
I think I have inserted some of my creativity into my jobs, but like your job is not your life. Like you should work to live, not live to work. And I feel like this whole thing with the, you know, the filming and the videos and sound editing, it's been cool because it's given me a kind of a cool hobby and a cool passion that, you know, I probably won't turn into a full-time career or anything, but it's something to kind of channel my creative outlet.
It's something to be proud of.
Exactly.
You know, it gives you purpose, man. Tim, I remember when going out to a couple of calls with you when you excuse me, you were selling the wound care stuff. And on Christmas time, you would make little cutouts with cookie cutters, and you know
that was my creative outlet, dude.
Well, but you know how cool that was, and how that set you apart from the other people selling that stuff. You know, they didn't, you know, you didn't get like these like fake cookies made out of like spongy wound care stuff that had been dyed from other, you know, reps. You know, that is true. You know, you absolutely integrated that creative aspect of yourself into a not really creative job. I mean, you have to be creative as a salesman, but not in the way that you would think as,
you have to be like
creative.
Vocally, you know, creative with your, you know, the words. You have to be a wordsmith.
And what you're creating in that is sales, and that's a different, you know.
Well, JB, everything is sales. You know that.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's another episode, though.
I think though, you say that. I think when you're creating videos, it's not sales. You are creating to create. You are creating because it feels good.
Yeah, but the cynical salesman will tell you that you're creating something that you have to sell to the viewer.
I think
you're asking them for 2 minutes of their time, and you have to create a product that is worth 2 minutes of their time.
Well, but okay, that is the cynical salesman in you. But a true artist creates just to create, and if they put it out in the world, if people like it, great. And I know that's a, you know, crazy idealist view of being an artist, cool. But the true artists out there, and I think that's why people see through the bullshit all the time, is that they totally create to create.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you had me start watching the YouTube videos of Peter McKinnon, and he's another guy on YouTube.
Oh man, he does some guy.
phenomenal photography and videography, and he's just so cool and humble. And I mean, I just watch his videos for like a lot of the tips because he shows people how to do everything he does. But he had a quote that really resonated with me, and it was find your passion, put it first, and everything else will follow. And I think that's kind of what you have to do.
And that's an artist viewpoint on life.
I think we're getting, and I think that none of us are pure artists or pure analysts.
See, I think we are. In my opinion, I think we are, and I think that we've been kind of suppressed by our surroundings. I think people want to create. People want to be artists.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I think the artists, they have analytical skills, and JB, you can, approach something analytically, but me, who's been more on the kind of analytics, kind of, binary, math and science kind of stuff, I can be creative. I think that we don't necessarily cultivate both, but I think we're getting a little off topic here. We're getting bad. Let's get back to goals. So
the backbone
I
of
wanted
this,
to,
podcast.
we wanted to kind of give you guys some value here. So if you have a goal, how do you get there? And I'm going to take something that I learned from, it came from some consultants that were hired by the corporate overlords over at some of the companies I worked with. So this is a very, very businessy approach to goals, but we're going to add to it and make it more in the passion side. But Steve did mention something about being specific. I think a goal has to be specific. So like JB, throw me a goal, for example.
So for instance, for me, it would be becoming a professional photographer, videographer.
Okay, give me an easier one.
Making enough money to pay the rent.
Okay, cool. So, the tool we're going to use here, it's called SMART goals. So it has to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So JB wants to pay the rent. I think that's attainable. I think it's realistic. He already has the timeliness built into it, because you have to put a time limit on a goal. Because we should say, I want to pay the rent someday. Then that gives you no sense.
You don't want to get evicted.
Yeah. So his timeliness is already built into that model. So now we're looking at specific and measurable. So the specifics is already kind of built into that model. Overall, it's X number of dollars. Let's call it, $2,000?
Sure.
Okay. So $2,000. So that is specific and it's measurable. So that goal is easy. And then you take that goal, you could literally figure out how many dollars you need to make per hour of work to hit that goal. So then every hour you could be checking, making sure you're there. I mean, if you're getting paid salary or whatever. But you can always check your progress hour over hour. But not all of our goals are that easy, because a lot of them are a little bit less objective and more subjective. So JB, what was your other example?
Like changing careers.
Transitioning to be a professional photographer?
Yeah, photographer, videographer.
Okay. All right, so this is there is no, it's pretty specific. Not exactly measurable. I mean, the end goal is measurable, but we need some more measurable things there. I would say it's attainable, realistic, and then we just need to put a time period on it.
Yeah.
So what, you think in the next 9 months?
10
months?
Just call it a year.
Call it a year. So the first thing I would ask you are, what are the top three things you need to accomplish to be able to slide into that role?
Well, I mean, so you're a photographer. You need to have a camera, equipment.
Okay, so you need
Gear.
You probably need a portfolio.
Yeah, portfolio
and maybe a resume.
Resume, yep.
And by resume, I mean like experience. So I would say the first thing is let's assume you don't have any extra money. You can't buy gear until you have some money. So I'd say these days you could probably take some pretty decent stuff with your iPhone. Is
yeah,
that true?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I would say first you take some stuff with your iPhone, and that way you can start your portfolio. And then I think with that, you could pick a time period. You get your first job, just some gig, whatever. Maybe you don't even get paid for it, but that helps you more with your portfolio. So then as you build that portfolio, then you can add stuff to your resume. And as you start getting some money for some of your gigs, then you can buy better gear. So we're not going to do it right now, but JB could actually take those 3 branches of what he needs to do to get there, and he could really map that out down to almost daily what he needs to do to help get those 3 categories exactly where he needs them. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah.
All right. So Steve.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I'm so big into physical fitness. I'd love to just kind of, I don't even know, not start my own kind of gym, but I want to have a nice home gym in my place.
All right. So maybe some personal training?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to get
a space where you can
so eventually
train
have your
people.
own almost boutique training gym.
Yeah, but
not one of the ones where
for
people,
reserved clients.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of those. They're small and they usually do 1 or 2 clients at a time. Okay.
Would you before we start here, Steve?
Yeah.
Is this like? Do you want the actual space, or do you want to be the person known to be able to train? Because you can pretty much train anywhere, right? Do you want to be a trainer?
I have the
are
space.
you
I just
concentrating
wanted
on
to
the
kind of do
space?
it like at my garage or something like that, like at my house, because then
Okay.
like I can incorporate like a cool run. Like I wanted to train people who like were not much like me. That's like unfair, but people who just like to do the same stuff I like to do, and then they also wanted to like have the time to fit in a workout as well. So it's not like I'm not like being a personal trainer. I think I just wanted to be like a training partner, and have have all the utensils and have all the cool tools like at my disposal.
Well, which is what the best trainers are. They're training partners.
You're going to be to personal training what this podcast is to motivation.
Bingo.
I like it.
I love it.
So,
want some more
JB, you want to start on this one?
Yeah. So, Steve,
and guys, this is all on the fly. We're putting this all together.
So what do you like? What do you think you need to go with originally? Like, so what? You need a space, right?
Yeah,
you have the space.
I have the space. I feel like I could work with my house and like I could work with that.
But you probably need more gear.
I probably need more equipment. I need a rack. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I need weights of varying degrees. All my neoprene weights are all just.
Well, how about this? So
need to go up to.
And you need clients.
You need clients.
Yeah, and I always just felt like the clients were my friends. The people that like I trusted and then trusted in me, that like we could push each other. And like you could just talk to them like on a real level, like, hey man, you need to go faster, or let's push me faster, dude. I'm gonna be following you all day. I know you're a stronger runner than I am. I'm gonna just be tailing you. I know you can. I know you have more energy than I do today. I need you to push me today. I need you to lift me up today.
Well, and Steve, you're a creative guy. You're a smart guy. Like, I would think that you would need the clients first, because you can do so many things without equipment.
That is true.
That's building up a rapport with these people. And then, once you actually build your client base and you gain credibility, then you can start getting to the more, specialized training things with, equipment and stuff like that,
Well, Steve could even do some boot class type classes with multiple people at a park or a zoo.
In a park,
why a zoo? I was going to say the beach.
Because you want to be around the brute force animals.
I think I just have.
You need to channel that inner.
Because you need that animal motivation.
Video about a tiger that like attacked some guy that was riding an elephant. It was crazy.
You were the one that was filming it, and you didn't even help him.
Steve runs through the zoo, dodging the poo that the monkeys are throwing at him. I just stereotyped monkeys. Not all monkeys throw poo. I'm sorry.
Dude, well, I'm just saying something through poo, and whatever it is, I'm dodging it.
So you could. I think with almost no gear, you could do some sort of boot camp classes.
No,
and
for
then
sure, that's right.
You're bringing in multiple, like 10 people at a time or whatever. You could just throw something on Groupon and do some cut rate classes just to get people in.
Well, but you don't even need to do that. So Tim and I, we've both been on the weight loss train for a long time.
Yes.
Tim's full steam ahead right now.
Yes, I am.
I'm kind of coming out of the doldrums. I did really well, and then I'm coming back out and trying to get back on it. Well, so here are two clients that are very willing. You should feel very comfortable around, because we've known you for 20 years. Mm-hmm. We are a blank slate for you to build your personal training platform on.
Love it.
And then all you need to see before and after pictures.
Ooh, I love it.
And we just need to take some videos and show people that you know what you're doing and that you bring value to them.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I used to hate taking pictures of myself, because I had 3,000 photos I looked through and I was in 10 of them.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you're the one who's taking them, you usually don't.
And today we discussed Tim's deep-seated neuroses about not taking pictures.
I hated everyone.
No, just fat Tim. I don't mind it so much anymore. Okay, so he has us too. So does he leverage us, JB, to get other clients?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're laying ourselves out there. We're obviously we're talking on a podcast here. We're not trying to hide. We are the perfect subjects, I believe, for Steve to jump in the water and start. You know
what? I would even say, based on our platform, Steve could do remote training.
Oh, absolutely.
The training plan.
He's going to have to with me.
He can communicate via Skype. I mean, he's already doing it with you, so that's what I'm saying. He's already done that. With FaceTime or Skype, he can be there in your face to motivate you or whatever.
Well, and it's not even that. It's nutrition. It's it's
absolutely
stuff like that. Which is hey, here you go. Here's a meal plan. Mm-hmm. That's really easy to do. Technology is.
But I feel like Steve would be more. I mean, you can pay a lot of money to a lot of places, and they'll give you some generic diet plan and generic workout. But I feel like Steve would bring an extra level of personalization to that.
And the reason why I'd bring personalization to you guys and also to whoever else I'd be doing it is because I know you guys and the people that I'm actually doing it. I'm not trying to go
good and you're just annoying
stuff.
Enough to where I don't want to punch you in the face all the time, but just some of the time.
There you go. And I'm quick enough to avoid
any
strike.
And Asian Abercrombie models scare me. So if we were jogging, I would be very afraid of you.
Yep.
Ooh, where'd you come from? Bobby? Yeah. Shit.
And then I think as you get more clients, then you buy more gear, and then eventually you turn your garage into a little boutique workout studio.
Dude, it's not even. I just wanted to here's what it is, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I just love my friends, and I love the people that I hang around with because I feel like these people are really quite motivated, and they're really quite. They have that desire. They have the same kind of outlook on physical being physically fit, and you don't need to have a 6-pack, to be like, oh, I'm healthy. You just want to have to go be active. You wanted to get off that couch. And I figured as much, if I could just hang out with my friends, if I could look at it like hanging out with my friends while working out, game over. That's the best. That's the best.
Yeah, and there's no reason that can't happen.
Yeah. Well, and now, Steve, I hear the way you talk to our listeners.
Yeah.
You love them too.
Oh, dude,
you care about them.
Man, I don't hate.
I think you care about anybody who just cares about
something, man.
Making an improvement.
Because I feed off that passion.
Feed off that passion. Steve needs that passion. So if you guys feel like getting in better shape, call Steve.
Or heck, if you just tell us something that you're passionate about, and you're like, dude, I don't know.
You can
I feel like
email Steve.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be someone good to talk to, or because sometimes you just need an uplifting person to just lift.
All right, Tim.
Sometimes you just need another person.
Yeah. Was it a rising tide raises all boats or something like that?
That is true.
Wow, that's profound.
I think.
But it's true.
Justin Bieber said.
Yes.
I'm kidding. He did
Coined by Justin.
I am a believer.
What?
Oh, man.
So Steve and I have discussed kind of what our goals are.
Yes.
Tim,
I gotta hear about yours.
What's your sort of what
do
gets
you want to
you
do, man?
excited? What do you see in your future?
I mean, all right. Well, I don't know how many. I don't really know if I've told this to anybody. I don't want to say always because I don't know exactly when I formulated this idea, but I would say for probably the last 5 years, I really thought it would be cool, and I'd really love to become some sort of a motivational speaker.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
And, I don't know, small groups, large groups. I think that I have some expertise where I could, go speak to companies and help them kind of increase morale, probably decrease turnover and all that stuff. But
you
just
know about that
reach
stuff.
out to people who want to be reached out to. Because I know people they pay all this money to go Tony Robbins and stuff. And I think Tony Robbins and a lot of the other motivational speakers, they have a lot of good things to say.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that I could bring, I've had a lot of experience, a lot of struggles. I've overcome some stuff, and I think that I'd really like to motivate people because just in my journey, I didn't set out to lose weight to motivate other people. I did it because it was something I needed to do and wanted to do. But the coolest part of it has been seeing other people want to make changes because I still have trouble with people saying, Tim, you're so inspirational. But I mean, if I am, then that's awesome. I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because if I can. I've lived a lot of my life without a lot of inspiration, and I've had to search for it. And if I can bring it to people, that's awesome. That is something I would really love to do.
That's awesome.
All right.
So JB, now tell me how I get there.
Well, then, just to say, dude, you have been, you know how to speak to people. You have the gift of gab.
You do.
So yes. I think that's, to put yourself on the track of becoming a motivational speaker, obviously you can always improve, but you've got that in spades. So that's not something that you really have to work on initially. I think right now, obviously you need groups to find and to speak in front of.
Yeah.
Would I be wrong? Yeah. Holy moly, here we are on a podcast. I think this
is this a beginning platform.
I think this would probably
wasn't really
be
the plan, but sure.
No, it's to be perfectly honest with everybody, we discussed goals briefly, but we kind of found that this might be a really good opportunity for us to practice what we preach here, and really put our money where our mouth is. Let me insert another cliche there. So you've got the gift of gab. You need an audience.
True.
Which we've got.
We do.
What else do you think you need?
I think with the speaking circuit, it's all about clout. I mean, they're not going to hire a motivational speaker who just says he's a motivational speaker. It's got to be somebody with a story, someone who was an ex-celebrity or an ex-athlete, or who wrote a book or something, or maybe who has a podcast, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe
let me bring it down.
What I need to do. I don't know.
And this is I think what you're trying to say is that you need to bring value to people. Because
true, but you also need to have some sort of a reputation.
But with reputation comes value. The reason you have a reputation is because you bring people value.
Yeah.
Because you've gone through and you've done some things, you've brought people meaning. And I think honestly, this is the perfect opportunity. I think you've got two of the three kind of things working for you, where we're in the process of helping you bring value to people. I mean, we're all trying to bring value to people in whatever we can do. If it's just people listening to three buddies talking about old stories, then that's honestly what I think we all get a lot from this too, is just reminiscing and getting together and the fraternization of that.
True.
But there's also, the motivation part of it, and talking about our story and Tim's journey right now and all of our journeys of figuring out where we want to go next in life, I think you've really got two of those things. And I think the third thing, which is the groups and the people to go out and talk to, I think that will come. So I think, honestly, with any of these goals, like you said, it's a time frame. So, you need to set forth, when you want to maybe go to that first group and make your first speech, or, whatever it is. Go to your mom's a teacher. You could go talk to some school kids about, staying off drugs. I mean, there's a number of ways to go ahead and utilize
my first
your
speech
skills.
at the zoo?
How to dodge poo.
Go talk to the chimpanzees. Like, listen, guys, people are sick of you throwing poop at us.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, your validity comes, and I'm not going to lie to you. The biggest thing that I see is going on with you is your commitment to yourself and your health, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I see
that's huge.
You're losing that weight, but not only that, it's not just about losing weight. People can lose weight by not eating, not drinking, not contributing to their sins, their demises. Like, oh, pizza every night. You're actually losing the weight, but you're also changing your lifestyle, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, you're getting out there, you're grinding, you're beating the streets, dude. You're packing on, you're packing on that sweatsuit, and you're going and you're doing your workouts. You know what I mean? And you're also not only doing that, but you're holding yourself accountable too, by putting your stuff up on Twitter and YouTube, and having people really kind of check in with you, and also check in with themselves too, and say hey man, if this guy's doing it, you were above 400 pounds. You were above 400 pounds.
I was close to 5.
You were close to 5, man.
I wasn't there.
Holy smokes.
I was close.
But yeah, you were close. But
now you're not.
No, you're dropping. You're going the other way.
What did you just say? You tried on a 3XL shirt.
I tried on a 3X shirt and it fit fine.
Could you never try on,
huge,
for the listeners
dude.
out there, could you never, what was the size shirt that you would wear?
I think for years I've been in a 5X.
A 5X. Now, I
Dude,
don't even...
so what, in the last 8 months?
October, November, December.
Oh, less than 8 months. So you've come that far.
Yeah.
And I think right now too, you need to be taking all of these little wins and just screaming to the mountains, being like, dude, check it out. I did this. This is amazing. Cause it is.
Well, it's funny, I want to motivate people, but I don't, I like talking about, people it's not really a first nature thing for me to just broadcast all of my stuff. But if it's helping people, then I'm happy to do it. I just, I see so many people that broadcast and it just comes from an arrogance point of view. And that's just not me.
Yeah.
Dude.
But and those people see through that.
People are not nearly as dumb as society thinks that they are.
People see through,
but people also need to be told that they're not as dumb as other people think they are. We need to remind them, guys, you're not slaves. You're not sheep. You're all amazing because you're listening to this podcast, and that means you must be awesome and have great taste. So
Exactly.
Don't give in to the things and the spots that people want to put you in, because you can do whatever you want to do.
I will tell you this, man. The people that, if you don't only talk about yourself and you're not so self-centered, man, you are.
We'll talk about you.
Yeah, we'll talk about you.
Sweet.
And you are something to be proud of, man. And I tell you, the people that, the biggest project that you'll ever kind of work on is yourself, right? Getting back to the foundations of our movement, right? You know? And so, you know, I was always told by a writing instructor, like way back in the day, you can't write about what you don't know. You can't create a story about what you never like experienced or lived before. And that's a huge point. You know, I can't talk about I myself can't talk about being almost 5 bills and then losing 100 plus, you know what I mean, so far, and getting on my grind like that. I can't talk about, you know, other things, but yeah, I can't talk about that. And yet you can, and you're going to bring that to the table. And the people that are following you, the people that are motivated by you, inspired by you, you know, they're...
Well, you can't talk about it authentically because you've never done it.
No, but even then, I think people could see right through the bullshit of like,
well, no, that's my point.
Well,
exactly,
I
is
think
that you could...
I think that there's so much material out there, and some of it comes from an honest place. A lot of it doesn't. And
yeah.
I think that the one thing that we agreed to each other and we agreed to ourselves was that what we bring and what we give to you guys, it may not be perfect and it may not be the best, but it will always be real.
oh, it's too
Yeah,
real.
I can guarantee you it's not going to be perfect.
I really think right now in society and everything that I see, I think people need that, because I think there's so much bullshit out there.
Well, there's so much scripted stuff. So
Everything's
people, even
scripted.
when you watch a reality show and you're like, oh man, you follow it for
Yeah, it's
some
crap.
ungodly reason why you want to watch those shows. Everything's fucking scripted. Like,
Even the news, like they're supposed to report the news, but they only report the parts of the news that their, you know, political lobbyist overlords decide that they want to. It's just, nothing is real. And so all we want to do is we're just going to try to bring you the best, realest us we can do.
dude, as
We
a
want to
person
kind of
who's
try and
worked
be a
in-
mirage.
And
in the
I am
desert.
in such a crazy,
real
positive,
mirage.
awesome place. And,
You are.
and these two guys have never, ever
Feeding
seen me
off of
be
it.
this positive or this like excited and passionate about life. My dad made a joke about me being on drugs because I talk fast now, apparently.
I think you're just talking at the normal speed in which you were always trying to talk at.
Well,
but the extra 100 bills.
without the extra 3 chins.
Without
I
the
can
extra
talk
3
fast.
You've
chins,
always
that
talked
was kind of
fast,
like-
but it was when you were speaking of things that you were passionate about.
Well, that's how it's always been, yeah.
Bro.
And
I
now
just-
you're passionate
I just haven't
about
been passionate
life.
about anything for years.
Dude,
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's.
I
I
was
mean,
a
like passion
passionless
is a drug, and it's
schmuck.
great. So yeah,
I love it.
Brian.
Passion
Tim
is
is
a
on
drug.
drugs.
Tim is on drugs.
Tim is high on life. I
Is
love
that a
it.
new designer drug?
Yeah.
Yeah, life. LYFE.
So I think so that's pretty much what we had to say about goals. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
No, you know what? All I just say is that if you don't have that carrot, if you have that carrot, great. Keep chasing it. Keep working towards it. That's awesome. Like, honestly, if you have a down moment where you feel like, oh, you know, I've already achieved something and you know, what do I do? What do I achieve next? Where do I go? You're not the only person that's ever felt that way. You're not the only person that's ever felt maybe even not so motivated when everyone around you is just grinding away and succeeding. It's okay. Stay in your lane. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your abilities and everything that you've learned, everything that you picked up along the way. And when something comes, when your interest gets sparked up again, you'll fire up again. And that's how it is. Unfortunately, you can't be all go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you know what?
Yeah.
When you actually get that motivation,
Well, and don't have a carrot
keep
just
at
to
it.
have a carrot.
Don't have a
I mean,
carrot.
if you
just
don't
to
have a
carrot.
giant goal, we could do this backwards. We always talk about breaking goals down.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a giant one, like don't have one just to have one. If you're not passionate about it, find something you're passionate about doing literally today. What can I do today that I think would make today better? Maybe it's just go to the gym or just find one thing that you can make a goal that you can hit, that you can get some success from. And I think that success, happiness, positivity changes your brain. I have a YouTube video about a guy that I saw a TED Talk on. I won't go into it right now, but if you're interested, it's there. We'll link it. But if your brain is in a positive space, it operates so much more efficiently, so much more effectively, so much more productively than if you're coming from even a neutral space or a stressed space. I mean, shit, we're always stressed. But if you can just find a couple of successes, a couple of victories, that'll change your mindset. And then maybe it'll open up your mind to some of the things that you might, it'll create some positivity within your brain, and that'll probably put your brain in a better spot to think about what you really do want as far as that passionate over goal. Or just keep doing little goals until you come up with something.
Dude, think about this.
Well,
If
and
you're doing
I
something-
think to that point, sorry to interrupt. But,
No, interrupt.
a good exercise is to just, take a step back, look at what you've got, really take stock. Like, do you have your health? Do you have a roof over your head? Can you eat? Can you fill the tank? Drive around? You know, if you can do those things, those are already successes that you've had and that you're looking past. So maybe not even just go out and try and manufacture a goal right now. Look at your life. And if you don't have those things, then those are your goals, you know?
Sure.
And then you should use that as your motivation to, and you know, that there's nothing wrong with that either. It's, you know, that's actually probably a more advantageous position because you have a fire lit under your butt to get those basic necessities.
Absolutely.
You know, I think, you know, we've all been very fortunate, you know, we've had loving families who have done everything they can to make our lives better. I think an unfortunate side effect of that is a little bit of complacency because we didn't have to work as hard as we could have to get those things. So I'm laying it all out there for you. Like for me, you know, it's been tough to manufacture those goals because I haven't really wanted for anything a lot. You know, I haven't really needed for anything really.
You've never needed best friends.
I mean, I've worked hard.
Yes.
I've worked very hard, but I've had those basic things. And I've been very fortunate to have those basic things, a loving family.
Right.
I've always had a roof over my head. You know, I've always been able to eat. I've always been able to
always have to
fill
work for those things. So
Exactly.
my point was that victories are powerful because they make you feel more
Exactly.
confident. And
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
if you're dragging through life, not that you need to just make up a goal, manufacture a goal, but find something that gives you something to do, something to strive for that you can do, because those victories are going to be powerful, and that's going to increase your confidence. It's going to increase your positivity, and that will put you in a better headset, even if it's just to do the same stuff that you're doing right now. Because those needs are great, but sometimes we need a little bit more. Like Steve needs a hobby. I needed a hobby, and then JB, like he put me down this rabbit hole of YouTube photography, and now I don't know, I have to learn how to fly a drone or something. But I just find something that will improve some part of your life and make it a little goal. If you don't have a big goal, then you don't have to break it down. Let's start with little ones. And then those will build up into something. I mean, like JB's whole story. JB didn't know that this is what he wanted to do, but he knew he wanted this and then that. And the dots connected and he ended up exactly where he needed to be. And now, you know, he's got a new path and we're working on that. But just always be striving for something. If your family life and your home life and your finances are all taken care of, then, you know, find other little things that are gonna bump up your stock. Your personal stock, because you don't have anything to prove to anyone except yourself. I mean, obviously you have to support your family and stuff, but it's yourself is the only person you should care about. And for those of you who are holding on to some sort of guilt or you feel like just forgive yourself, please. Forgive yourself for whatever it is you're holding against yourself, and free yourself to go be a better you. We're here to help.
Well, and forgive, like in forgiving yourself, that can be a hard thing to do.
Oh, we'll go into that more in a different episode.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you're holding on to something like that, that could make a goal really hard to make. So if you happen to just haven't have heard that and you're like, oh, Tim said forgive myself, so I'm going to do that. Like maybe one person, if I could hit one person, that'd be awesome. Probably not, but you know. So on this, we've talked a lot about how there's a lot of programs and stuff. So I'm just going to throw this out there. We've talked about this. I think what the three of us are going to do, and we would love your input, is any program we can come across. It's like 12 steps to success or 30 days to a happier you or that. We're going to try and get and do as many of those things in the next, I don't know, however long it takes, next year, whatever. And then we are going to log our results and then we'll share them on the cast. And we won't talk about them until we're sharing them on the cast. So that'll be the first time we talk about each one. I don't have our first one yet, but once we get that, I will let you guys know.
We're going to get down and dirty. So if you think of something, man.
So yeah, if you guys have any, like if there's some like Tony Robbins 30 days to whatever personal power program or some, I don't know.
Hell, even if you had like not a diet, like not a new fad diet, but no.
Diets and exercise.
You know,
we're going to do those too.
Let's do that.
And then we're going to review them on here. We are going to.
We're going to do it all.
We're not being at this.
We're going to be your guinea pigs.
At this point, we're not being paid by anybody. So,
guinea pigs.
but no, even if we are, I mean, our reviews are going to be completely
look, if you're out there and you say, hey, I saw this thing that was interesting and I'm going through it, I want to do it, and hell, you know what, I don't have anyone to do it with me, guess what, you do now.
You do.
Or if you need like a taste tester and you want us to try it first, we're cool with that too. So send us,
we can be your beef eaters.
Send us your any sort of programs that you come across that you are trying, you have tried, you want us to try, you want us to review. And like we're also
cleanse,
we're not sure where to start, but we'd like to start reviewing some fitness products and some nutrition products like protein powder, whatever, foam rollers, whatever, anything. We'll do it all.
Suggestions.
We want to, we love your suggestions. So hit us up, projectxreclamation@gmail.com. Go to the website, project-reclamation.com. And on the website, I think we have all of our social media posted there. And I think I haven't done it yet, but I'll attach some version of our personal stuff there too.
I love it.
If Steve's okay with that. I mean, I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want everyone following you on Instagram.
No, I don't want any followers on Instagram.
I just want to post. I'm sure if they listen to the beginning of this episode, they don't want to follow mine because Tim doesn't know how to take pictures, but whatever.
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
He only has 10 of them.
Right. So that's a wrap, guys. I hope we helped you with goals. I think we helped ourselves. I think we learned some things about ourselves and each other today. So hopefully you guys will do the same. Reach out to us with anything. And does someone have a quote, or is it my turn?
I believe it's your turn.
Okay. Ooh. I do have one. I have no idea who this person is, but it was a cool quote, and I think it was relevant to our subject matter. A dream becomes a goal when action is taken towards its achievement. Bo Bennett. If anyone wants to Google that and let me know who that guy is, that'd be awesome.
And Bo Bennett,
wouldn't it be weird if it was a girl?
Maybe it
thanks
is.
For listening, man.
I appreciate it. Cool. So that's it, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Peace out, fellas.
Peace.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.